morning, everybody. I'm Sari Custer, and this is Azarian Science for Arizona Science Center. As you can see, I'm not at the Science Center. I am also at home, safe social distancing, and I hope you are all safe in your homes, doing some safe social/physical distancing, and helping to keep our community safe by flattening the curve and helping to prevent the spread of disease. So thank you so much for being home, and thank you for tuning in today. We're here for our daily 9:30 early learner activity, so having a little fun with some literacy and science. And I see some of you are still joining us, so don't worry, we're going to wait just a few more minutes while everybody joins us today. We hope you're having a lot of fun. And for those of you who are looking for even more fun and more science, because of course since we're home, the science doesn't have to stop. You can wonder wherever you are. So we've got resources for you online at azscience.org. You can check out all the different videos. There's various website resources, different activities you can do. But don't worry, we got one for you today too. That's a lot of fun. And you know what, while we have a couple other people joining us, I'll answer a couple questions that I got this week, which includes, Sari, why is it when you're at your house, you always film in your kitchen in front of your stove? Well, there's two reasons, and I'm going to share those with you today. One is because, well, my island is right here, so I've got a really nice work surface. And the second reason is because my window, my door wall is actually over there, and you can see the light coming in. I get better light by sitting on this side of the island as opposed to being on the other side where the light doesn't hit me. So that's it. That's why I'm always in the kitchen, but also because, you know, kitchen science, we can do all this stuff at home. So, all right, I see many of you have joined us, so good morning, everybody, and hello. We're so glad to have you here. Today we are talking about food, so I thought we would read the book Before We Eat, From Farm to Table, and then we're gonna do an activity, making butter. Doesn't that sound really cool? So we're talking about food today. Where does our food come from? And now, if adults, if you wanna gather materials while we are reading our book, all we need today, so if you have this, or you can of course do this after, heavy whipping cream, a small container with a lid, and a clean marble. That's it, that's all we need. If you want salt, and maybe something to measure with, but this is one where we don't have to be real exact. But if you want to practice some good measuring skills, you can use a measuring spoon. And we'll get to that at the end, but those are materials you'll want to grab. All right, so let's get on with our book. Are you ready? All right, so Before We Eat, From Farm to Table by Pat Brisson, illustrated by Mary Azarian. I'm gonna get a little bit closer here so that you guys can see the pictures today. Oh, and for anybody wondering, so my helper, Carson, my 5-year-old daughter, who's normally with me, she's here today. She decided that she's done this before and she wants you to enjoy it. So she might pop in today during the video and say hello, but you might not recognize her because she's playing Rapunzel. So you might not recognize Princess Rapunzel if she pops in, but we'll be sure to say hi if she does. All right, here we go. Before We Eat, From Farm to Table. All right. So while I flip to the first page, be thinking, you know, what did you have for dinner last night? Or even this morning? All right. So here we go. As we sit around this table, let's give thanks as we are able to all the folks we'll never meet who help provide this food we eat. They plowed the ground and planted seeds, tended fields, removed the weeds. Do you guys have gardens? You guys, anybody with a garden knows how hard that is and how much you have to work to remove all those weeds. They picked the food at harvest time, working in the heat and grime. I like his shirt. It says, "Eat more kale." They grazed the cattle, fed the sows. Do you know what a sow is? Can you guess from the picture? That's right, the female pig. They gathered eggs and milked the cows. They fished from boats out on the seas. Raised wheat and nuts and honeybees. Thank the ones who packed the crates, sorted boxes, and checked the weights. Thank the drivers on the roads, in their trucks with heavy loads. And all the clerks at all the stores who did the grocery selling chores. It's particularly poignant right now, huh? Thank the ones who bought this food, the ones who teach me gratitude. So think about who buys the food in your household. Have you thanked them? Sitting at this meal we share, we are grateful and aware, sending thanks upon the air. To those workers everywhere. And that's the end. Now, were you thinking about maybe what you had for breakfast this morning or what you might have had for dinner last night? This book is great to be really mindful about where that food comes from and where do you think? So this question is kind of directed at our tiny humans watching out there today. Can you turn to your adult and tell them where you think our food comes from? Where do we get our food? So some of you might have said the grocery store. And yes, we absolutely get at the grocery store. And even in this book, we referenced all the people who work at the grocery store to help get us that food. Well, before it gets to the grocery store, it comes from farms, it comes from dairies, all different places where we get our food. So there's a lot of work that goes into it. Well, today, we're gonna think about making our own food in a little science activity, making butter. We're gonna take heavy whipping cream and turn it into something else. So if you've got the materials, you can try this with us. I'm gonna adjust the camera so that you guys can see down here. Here we go. Can you guys see that okay? All right. So I'm actually gonna back this up just a tad, otherwise I'm gonna hit the camera. All right. Cool. All right, much better view for you all. So if you've got your container, like I said, all you need is some heavy whipping cream, a plastic container with a lid, and a marble. If you've got a measuring spoon, we can measure out. We're gonna start with 2 tablespoons of cream. Now, I don't know if you, oh, there's my dog. I don't know if any of you have ever tasted cream, but it's really thick milk, right? There's a lot of fat in milk. And that's just the way it is naturally. Now, what we're gonna do is take this super creamy milk, or cream, that's literally why it's called cream. All right, we've got 2 tablespoons in our little container. We're gonna drop in our clean marble. Make sure it's clean because, you know, this is food. And we're gonna snap our lid on real tight. Now, you guys are gonna love this, and you wanna make sure that lid is sealed because the next thing we're gonna do is just start shaking. And I want you to keep shaking and shaking and shaking. And now, this is gonna go on for a little while because what we're doing is using this marble to help damage the coating around some of those fat molecules. So I'm gonna stop, but you don't stop shaking, but I just need to use my hands. So around every fat molecule in the cream, there's a little, basically like a coating of proteins and other fats, helping to keep it so that it doesn't stick to other fats in the milk or the cream. So what we're doing with this marble and by shaking it is starting to damage that coating so that all those molecules can start to stick together and glob together. So I hope you're still shaking. Keep shaking, keep shaking. I had to stop this one, but don't worry, I prepped another one. And if you're still shaking, you might get this. So let me open this up. If you check on it, you might start to see that it has sort of a cream. I'm gonna just use my finger here. It's sort of a thicker consistency. Now, at this point, you're about what whipped cream is made out of. So if you wanted to add some powdered sugar to it, this is actually more like whipped cream, but you have to keep going and keep shaking. And if you do that, so don't stop shaking. So tiny humans, if you're at home still shaking, keep shaking. It's quite the workout. And if you don't, Princess Rapunzel found another marble for us.
I'm not Princess Rapunzel. I'm your daughter, Mom.
Did you want to say hi? I said you might make an appearance. No? All right, thanks.
I just found a marble.
Okay, we got one more marble for us. All right, so if you're... Oh, I got it. Thank you so much, Carson.
You're welcome.
All right, so if you still are shaking, once you keep shaking, you're gonna start to see it glob up like this. Now, I put a whole cup in a mixer and kept doing this last night until I started to get the globs of butter, and you're gonna see the chunks start to stick together, and you'll see those yellow fats stick together and then separate out from the buttermilk. And at this point, you wanna be able to rinse it, but I mean, if you feel it, I mean, this is that waxy texture of real butter. And let me tell you, I haven't done this in so many years. I was really, really shocked and had a lot of fun with it. I was like, oh my gosh, I made my own butter. So keep shaking until you get those globs, and you're gonna pour off that liquid part. So let me show you again. Once you get those big globs of butter, you're gonna pour off the liquid here. Oh, and if you want, you can add some salt too, because right now you've got sweet cream butter with no salt. If you want to add salt to be able to use this later, you can. But pour off the liquid, and then this is the part you really want to keep unless you want to do something with this and you can figure out what recipe you want to use that in. But there you all have it, folks. That is our science recipe or science activity for today on how you can make your own butter and think about where your food comes from, how food's made, and make a little yourself. So we hope you're having some fun with some science at home while we're all safe social distancing. Of course, if you need more resources, check us out at azscience.org for videos, activities, and so much more. You can also catch us here every day at 9:30 on Facebook Live for more early learner activities, and at 1 p.m. for more demonstrations and activities for all ages. So thank you for joining us today. Leave us comments, leave us pictures below. If you've made your own butter or done any of the activities we've been doing, please send us pictures. We love to see you doing these at home while you're safe social distancing. And until next time, take care. All right, guys, we'll see you next time in Science. Bye, y'all.